Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So I was digging through some local HVAC data recently, and man, I discovered this fascinating, super high-stakes battle happening right in our own backyards. We're talking about the epic clash between Central Texas homes and our absolutely brutal, relentless local environment. If you live in or around Georgetown, you already know that keeping your home cool isn't just a luxury or about basic comfort, it is a matter of absolute survival. Today we're breaking down some critical data from local HVAC experts to basically equip you with the ultimate defense manual for your home. Let's tap into that feeling for just a second. We all know that collective sinking dread of a broken air conditioner right in the middle of July, right? It's literally a homeowner's worst nightmare. You kind of have to ask yourself, when you think about the equipment you rely on every single day, is your system genuinely prepared to survive the impending heat wave? Or is it, secretly waving a white flag? We're going to find out exactly what it takes to make sure your system doesn't surrender when you need it the most. Now, what's really interesting about this fact is the hidden danger right under your feet. Usually, when we think about our air conditioning, we look up at our vents or maybe outside at that noisy condenser unit. But Georgetown's local geology, it is actively working against you. The expansive clay soil in our area shifts dramatically between the wet and dry seasons, and that foundation movement actually physically rips your ductwork apart and cracks rigid refrigerant lines. It's crazy.
So here's our roadmap for today's Explainer. First, the climate challenge, followed closely by soil and water threats. Then we'll dive into the classic repair versus replace dilemma, the true cost of AC, and finally wrap up with some really smart maintenance hacks.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, the Georgetown Climate Challenge.
The plain truth is, standard HVAC advice just does not cut it in Georgetown. Consider this brutal combination. Your system is forced to work way harder here than almost anywhere else in the country. You've got summer temperatures routinely blasting past 100 degrees, the kind of heat that literally melts your sneakers to the sidewalk. And that forces systems to run constantly from May all the way through October. But it's not just a dry heat, is it? Intense humidity spikes roll through after those afternoon thunderstorms, making your system work double time just to pull moisture out of the air. And just when your equipment thinks it finally gets a break, bam! A sudden hard winter freeze demands your gas furnace or heat pump fire up instantly. It's just an extreme stress test on your compressors and coils.
All right, moving underground. Section 2, hidden threats, soil and water.
I was actually completely shocked to learn how drastically Georgetown's clay soil expands and contracts with moisture changes. Think about it. If a home is built on stable soil, the ductwork and refrigerant lines remain securely sealed for decades, no problem. But because Georgetown clay moves your foundation so much, in established neighborhoods like Sun City, Berry Creek, or Serenata, this movement causes devastating refrigerant leaks and separated ducts. It is literally pulling your system apart from the inside out, which crushes your efficiency and drives your energy bills through the roof.
And well, that leads us right into our next hidden threat, which is your water supply. Williamson County is totally notorious for its limestone-heavy groundwater. This hard water creates intense mineral scale buildup right inside your condensate drain lines. If you aren't paying close attention, that buildup completely clogs the lines, causing an overflow that will send water pouring straight through your ceilings and walls. It's one of those HVAC issues that rapidly snowballs into a massive, expensive structural repair.
So, what happens when things break? Let's get into Section 3, the repair versus replace dilemma. When crunching the data, one single number just kept popping up as the ultimate golden rule for homeowners: $5,000. This is absolutely an insider cheat code, a mathematically sound, smart financial takeaway for when you're standing in front of a broken, aging system in the dead of summer, desperately wondering what to do.
Let's actually walk through the math on this $5,000 rule, because it's incredibly straightforward but highly effective. First, determine the age of your system. Next, get the estimated cost of whatever repair you're facing. Then, simply multiply the age by the repair cost. If your total is greater than $5,000, it is time to replace the unit. For example, say you have a 12-year-old system facing a $500 repair. Well, 12 times 500 equals $6,000. Boom, replace it. Pouring good money into an old, inefficient unit that's already struggling against the Texas heat is just a losing battle.
Which brings us to the big question. Section 4, the true cost of AC. And this brilliantly illustrates the real numbers we're dealing with. For a smaller, say 1,200 square foot home, you're going to need a 2 to 2.5 ton unit, which will cost anywhere from the mid-$4,000s up to $8,000. If you step up to a 2,000 square foot home, you're looking at a 3 to 4 ton system running up to $12,000 depending on the efficiency rating. But here is the absolutely crucial part. You cannot just guess your size. You need a manual J-load calculation. That's basically just a strict mathematical formula that technicians use to measure a home's exact cooling needs. Oversized equipment cycles way too fast and leaves your home feeling like a humid, swampy mess, while undersized equipment, it'll just run nonstop until it completely burns out.
But hey, I do have a fantastic piece of good news to offset that sticker shock. When you upgrade to a high SEER unit, and SEER is really just a rating system for energy efficiency, you can actually leverage the Federal Energy Efficient Home Improvement Credit. This lets you deduct up to 30% of the costs on qualifying ACs, heat pumps, and furnaces. It is such an amazing way to invest in top-tier survival gear for your home while getting the government to help foot the bill. Pretty sweet, right?
All right, let's wrap things up with Section 5, Smart Maintenance Hacks.
Here's a number that totally, and I mean totally, changed how I look at my thermostat: 3. This is a vital, everyday operational hack that you have complete control over, and it can literally prevent a catastrophic, thousands of dollars system failure.
It's known as the 3-minute rule. Whenever your AC shuts off, whether it's from a quick power blip during one of those crazy thunderstorms, or even just you manually tweaking the thermostat, you must wait at least 3 minutes before restarting it. Why? Well, because the refrigerant pressure throughout the entire system needs time to equalize. If you force the compressor to start against high pressure, you risk severe motor burnout. Seriously, resist the temptation to instantly flip that switch back on. So the crucial point here is that your system requires some non-negotiable armor to win this environmental battle year after year. You absolutely must schedule those biannual tune-ups. You have to keep those condensate drain lines clear of that limestone buildup we talked about. The outdoor condenser coils, they need to be scrubbed clean of all that Central Texas cedar pollen and dust. And remembering that shifting clay soil from earlier, you've got to verify that you have flexible connections installed for your ductwork so it actually survives the ground movement. I want to leave you all with a real thought-provoking question to ponder today. Think about the unit sitting outside your house right now. Considering its age, its maintenance history, and the incredibly brutal environment it faces here in Georgetown, is your system armed and ready for the battle ahead, or is it simply a breakdown just waiting to happen? Take proactive action now, apply that $5,000 rule, and armor up before the next triple-digit heat wave strikes. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and stay cool out there.